Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to HN Builds. Today we're starting a new project. I guess it's kind of like research and development, I guess you would kind of call it, for what I'm going to try to sell in my new business. We're making cutting boards today. But first, before we can get started making them, we got to go back inside the house. I do not know what design I want on the cutting boards. I kind of have an idea of what I want, but I don't really know like the sizes of the boards and all this crap. So we're going to go back inside and we're going to figure out what design we want. So with the design, I kind of knew somewhat what I was going to want to do. I knew I was going to want to do this little pattern that's right here, but I didn't really know if I wanted to do it in the center of the board or off to the side. So this is what I come up with. I want to have a kind of a side shorter piece of a piece of cherry, a piece of maple, a piece of the zebra stripe or the purple heart wood, another piece of maple, a piece of walnut, another piece of maple, another piece of the zebra stripe or the purple heart, another piece of maple, and then a larger part of the board that's made out of cherry. Ultimately, my final dimensions will be roughly 10 inches tall by 13 inches, with each of these stripes being roughly half an inch. So now that we got the plans all figured out, let's get it printed off on a sheet of paper and go out in the barn and get started working on these cutting boards. Okay, now we're back out in the barn. We got our handy dandy little plan sheet here that I had printed off, which was more of a pain than this. Anyway, got our plans here. Now we just gotta get our wood cut out in the table saw. Here we have a whole bunch of these wooden blanks. We have to cut 12 maple strips at a ½ inch. We have to cut 3 walnut strips also at a ½ inch. And finally, we have to cut 6 zebra stripe rips at also a ½ inch. So let's go get it done. Okay, so I got this really nice piece of cherry here the other day because I didn't like the look of having 4 little pieces stacked next to each other to make a 7½ inch wide piece. This piece is about 8 inches wide. Should do the trick for the one side of the cutting board that's 7½ inches long. So look at this cut down to pieces that are 10 inches, plain on the table saw. Make it all look all nice. All the cherry stacks done, and I got these other pieces done for the right hand side of the board as well. Those are all done, so all the stacks done. Now we can go inside and start to glue them all together. Okay, so we got all the wood cut out. Now we're going to begin to glue all the boards together. So what we're going to be using is we're going to be using Tight Bond Type 3. Pretty much what we got to do is we got to glue the one side on both pieces, stick it in there, then do the same all the way back. Okay, so our glue up is complete. It actually turned out a lot better than I thought it was going to. These four-way panel clamps actually did help a lot. So now I just have to do that process again another 2 times with those pieces of wood after I wait for this to dry for 2 days.
Eventually.
Okay, so it's now been 2 days since we glued this cutting board together, and now it's time to get it all unclamped. Okay, so pretty much it's just taking this apart the same way that we put it together. Just gotta unscrew these clamps, then gotta pull these pins out. Alright. Pop right out like that. Okay, so here's our final product with the cutting board. It actually turned out pretty good for the first time I glued something together. It is still, of course, rough with where the different pieces of wood overlap each other, but we can just run that through the planer and knock that off. Same with the glue. We do have to run it through a table saw, take this edge off, that edge off, just so it's all nice and lined. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with how it's turned out. Yeah, I think it's turned out pretty good. So now we're gonna go back into the barn, get all the glue knocked off, get them all trimmed up. All right, so now we got it all glued together. We're ready to go. Now it's time to start finishing the board. Pretty much what we did first was knocked off a lot of the big globs of the excess glue with just a paint scraper. Pretty much that doesn't chew up the planer blades because, well, they're not cheap. Now we're gonna get it cut off, and then we're gonna run it through the planer to make it all nice and smooth, and run it through the sander to get it all sanded down. So we got it all plain, all nice and smooth. Got all the edges all square. Now we just got to come back. We just got to route all the edges, sand it one last time to 240 grit, and then finish it. Okay, so now we got all of the cutting boards all nice and routed out. They look pretty nice. Now I'm going to be taking some wood filler and just filling in all the cracks that are in the cutting boards, just from like where glue ended up not getting all the way, or there was like a little bit of a deviation in the wood or something. So all I'm going to be doing is just opening one of these tins and filling it in using this 3/4 inch chisel.
1 hour later.
Okay, so we got all the putty all on our cutting boards. The excess that you see will be sanded all off. So it'll look all nice and pretty. So now the next step after all this all dries is going to be sanding. So let's cut to that, I guess. I use that hand clap transition way too much. Anyway, it's been a day. The wood putty has dried. So now we gotta get this all sanded down. Gotta sand everything all nice and smooth. Okay, so all the cutting boards are sanded. They are all nice and smooth and all purdy and all that stuff. Now it is time to bring them inside and get a finish put on them. Yeah, we're gonna do 2 finishing coats of it and make it all look all nice. Let's do it. Okay, so now we're gonna put the finish on the cutting boards. These 2 cutting boards, I had come down here last night and I put the finish on them. I'm gonna be doing 2 coats of finish. After 1 coat, I think it looks really, really nice. I am very happy with the results. So now I'm going to put the first coat of finish on this cutting board, and then I'm going to put the last 2 coats on these 2 cutting boards. Now we're going to do a second coat on these. Okay, so it's been a couple days. I've let the finish dry and I wiped all the extra off it, and honestly, these looking great. So I guess with that, the project's done. In the beginning of this video, this is going to be a product that I plan on selling on Etsy. It's not going to be up for sale for a while, at least a month, because these cutting boards are pretty much a test to see, for one, if they'll hold up to just normal wear and tear of someone using it as a cutting board. Wow, big shock. So yeah, thank you all for watching. I will see you guys next time. Peace. Seatbelts, everyone! Please let this be a normal field trip with the friends. No way! Oh, so stop cruising on down Main Street. You're relaxing, feeling good. Next thing that you know, you're seeing an octopus in the neighborhood, surfing on a sound wave, singing through the stars. Take a left at your intestine. Take your second right past Mars on the magic school bus. Navigate a nostril. Climb on the magic school bus. Stack a plankton or 2. Take that on the magic school bus. Wrap the liver of lava on the magic school bus. Yeah, it's such a fine thing to do. So strap your bones right to the seat. Come on.
What the fuck am I listening to?